Namaste and welcome to this home practice. Joining me in my home, my kitchen. You will need for this practice a chair and perhaps a cushion. And for a yoga mat, you don't even need a yoga mat. You could be right on your carpet or something that's comfortable to lie on. Sticky mats are useful sometimes when working with chairs just because it does keep the chair in place when you're using that. But I just have a normal kitchen chair and a sofa cushion, and that's going to be just fine for me in this practice where we invite a little bit of yinness into our yanginess. And what I mean by that is we're going to be using postures that we are typically associating with more of a dynamic yang kind of practice. So nothing extreme, just the standing postures and just a couple of postures that typically have more of an energizing quality. And we're going to do them in a restorative way so that they have more of a yin quality to them. And why are we doing that? To bring balance into our system, our energetic system. We have been talking about in my live classes the nadis, the three nadis, the Sushumna nadi, which is that main channel, and the sun, the Surya, and the Chandra nadi, Ida Pingala. And if you think about that image of the symbolic medicine symbol, it is that staff with the wings at the top, and then there are two snakes that kind of coil around and wrap around that staff. Well, that is the same imagery that we have, and the same kind of symbol that we have for the nadis. It's that main channel, that main staff, and then we have that kundalini energy, which is symbolically a snake, that is coming up and rising, or those two nadis that are kind of crisscrossing at each of the chakras and ending at the third eye. So it's very similar to that symbol that we already know very commonly for the medicine. And why? Maybe because it's very healing and there's something relatable through all the language of the world. There's an intricate understanding of what healing means, and that is to bring balance back into the whole. So we're going to do that tonight by taking some of these hatha, meaning balancing of the sun and the moon, practices, and just inviting a little bit more yin into the yang. So we're going to start sitting in your comfortable chair, and we're going to start with the balancing breath called alternate nostril breath. So just get comfortable, and it's nice if we're sitting on the chair to sit more at the edge of the chair so you can really feel your feet grounded. Maybe take a moment just to relax the shoulders, close the eyes, and check in that the spine is really aligned, that it's nice and straight. And we want to feel that the head is balancing right over the tailbone. So the crown chakra, that last chakra, is aligning right over the root, the very first chakra. And then all the others will align as well. And just take a moment to feel the flow of your breath. Maybe even visualizing the breath drawing all the way down to the root chakra and all the way back up, back to the crown chakra. So we imagine the breath as flowing up and down that central channel. And I like to imagine the breath rising up on the inhale, as to me it feels more expansive and uplifting, and then coming down on the exhalation as it feels more grounding. But there are other ways to practice that too, but today maybe this feels good for you to practice, or maybe it feels more intuitive to practice in reverse. Take one more breath here, that just long, slow flow of breath through the central channel. And then we're going to come into alternate nostril breath. So bringing the right hand up, we're going to take the middle finger and the pointer finger to the third eye point, which is the point just above the brow line. And that's where it's going to rest. We're going to really relax this arm. Sometimes you need to really support it with the other arm. Just take the hand and support the elbow in the hand. We're going to use the thumb in a moment to block the right nostril, so we can start by breathing in the left. We're going to breathe in the left nostril, and then we're going to close the left nostril with either the ring finger, the little finger, or both, and breathe out through the right. Don't worry, I'll guide you. We'll start in just a moment. Then we'll breathe in through the right and breathe out through the left. So we're just alternating the nostrils that we're breathing in. Now, there are some days that my left nostril is really congested and blocked, just because maybe it's a physical defect, or maybe it's telling of which side is more dominant for me. But I always find that usually, especially in the mornings, that my left is quite blocked. And there are some days I can't even practice this breath because it is so blocked. So instead of really trying to struggle here, you can just use your visualization. So you could imagine that the breath was coming in through that left nostril and out through the right, in through the right, out through the left. Because the power of imagination, my friends, has a tremendous effect on what is happening in the brain activity. And that's really what we want to do, because when the brain activity is stimulated, it means the brain and the body, that activity, the nervous system, is also stimulated and active. And then at a subtle level, the energy systems will be active as well. So visualize if you can't do. We're just going to do a couple of rounds together. So getting comfortable, raising that right hand up to the face, positioning the middle pointer finger on the third eye, closing the right nostril, and inhale through the left. Close the left lightly and gently and breathe out through the right. Inhale through the right, closing the left lightly. Now close the right nostril very lightly and open the left to breathe out, left side. Breathing in left. Close the left lightly and breathe out right. Breathe in right. Close the right lightly, breathe out left. In left. Out right. In right. Out left. One more round, in left. Out right, relax the shoulders. In right, awareness to that flow of breath to the third eye. And finally out left. Release the hands, breathe in both nostrils. And exhaling both nostrils. And just take a moment to feel into that space. In just a few rounds of breath can bring us back into a more balanced, calming place, more centered and grounded. Not too relaxed that there's dullness, but not overstimulated. So we're fidgeting, ready to take action. There's this calm alertness. And you can do that practice for many, many more minutes than we just did now. But even just a short practice can help open the gateway of this space of being more balanced and centered. And just take a moment to notice if you are more dominant in the right or the left side. Left side being the moon quality, the yin, introspective, passive, and the right side being the sun, more active, the yang. And does that correlate to how you're feeling right now, to your energy at the start of the practice? Good. And then just release your arms by your side. Take a deep breath. Reach your arms upwards to the sky. Maybe even look up and feel the whole sides of the body lengthen, front body lengthen, and bring your arms back down to the sides. One more time like that. Inhaling, the arms rise, lift up. Feel your feet rooting down, and exhale. Take your arms back to your sides. We're going to open the legs. So we're going to come into a straddle position. I'm just moving my cushion here so I can sit more at the edge of the chair. So my feet are firmly on the ground. If you're a little person, you might want to put some books or some blocks under your feet so you really feel grounded. That's important here. So the knees are pointing in the same direction as the toes, and I'm just going to lean into the heels of my hands so that my body weight is coming forward. And then I can use my hands to just stretch open the inner thighs a little bit more. I'm really grounding through the feet. So this is usually done standing. I'm going to turn my hands inwards so my fingers are facing towards the floor. We're going to take a little twist. So the hands are pressing the knees open. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, twist to the right so that your left shoulder is dropping down to the middle and you're looking over the right shoulder. Use your hands to keep opening the knees apart and away from each other. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, lean into the hands. Press into the hands to keep the knees and legs open. Inhaling, back to center. Exhale. Now let's just stay here in this twist for a couple of breaths. Really feel that you're grounding through your feet. So it's not like you're totally sitting all the weight into the chair. The weight is mostly in my feet and my hands, but the chair is just supporting me as I turn and twist to look over that top shoulder. Inhaling to come back to center. Exhaling to the other side for a couple of breaths here. Actively opening, but using the support of the chair so that there's some yin to this pose. It's not all yang. It's not about muscle tone. It's about opening and releasing, lengthening the breath. On your next inhale, return back to center. And then we're going to fold. So we're going to bring our hands to the floor. And you might have to kind of push your bum back to find the chair again, adjusting yourself as you need to. Now you want to feel the weight is in the chair, in the bum. You can straighten the legs a little bit more. The chair is supporting you so that you can fold. And just seeing how far you can fold, letting the body drape forward. The feet are still grounded, but we're not really using the legs too much. The chair is supporting us in this forward fold. And just allowing the blood flow to the head, the cooling energy to help pacify the mind. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to come up. Maybe you can push into your feet and roll up, but you might need to take your hands to your legs to help you walk up and come all the way up, sitting upright. Then we're going to close the feet, bring the feet back in, crossing the right ankle over your left. So I still have a cushion underneath me, but you can always be more flat and stable on your chair if you need that. So just adapt this to what your body needs. My right ankle is crossed over my left leg. My hands are just on the leg here, one on the knee, one on the ankle. And I'm just going to start to lean forward. And it could be a very little lean for you. Or if your body's feeling more open, you can lean right into it. The closer you're closing the chest to the leg, the deeper you're going to feel a nice stretch into the glutes, into the hips. You could even let the body just drape forward if that's available to you. And just dangle here, finding the breath. Remember, yoga is not about looking like anyone else. It's about making these shapes work for you. And although there's the yang qualities to these postures, they're not total, true restorative poses. There's still an element of yin. And when I say yin, I mean that calming, cooling, introspective quality of the pose. Slowing the breath down, allowing every exhalation to enter more deeply into the pose. And then we're going to slowly roll the body up. Again, you can use your hands to help assist you. And then we're going to take that right foot back to the floor, crossing over left ankle onto the right. Hands to that front leg, and then just start to lean. And it might be that you just stop there and rest there. Not a problem. Again, just testing your body, seeing what you're able to do, what the body's willing to do tonight. Not forcing, using the breath to breathe into it. And you might even notice that there is a difference between the sides of the body. That it's not uncommon for one side to hold more tension than the other. And if you're feeling that tanginess in the hip and the glute, try to bring more yinness to that, the calming and the soothing qualities that the breath offers, offering that to yourself. That ability to self-soothe what is uncomfortable through the breath. And then slowly we're going to come all the way back up, taking that foot to the floor. And then we're going to come into a warrior pose, which is, of course, more associated with our standing postures, which are more yang in nature. So we're going to stand up first, and you're going to back up over your chair. It's a bit awkward to get into, but you want to be completely straddling the top of your chair. Then, I'm just going to come back onto my mat. You're going to turn your right foot forward to the short edge of the mat so that you're in a lunge, and your back foot also turns just a very few degrees so that the hips can open. Now the chair is underneath you, so you can really lean into that chair, but still active through your feet. Your legs are still working, but the chair is doing a lot of the support. This is great for when you're in your later stages of pregnancy, or if you're in your later stages of life where your balance is a lot less, or you don't even have to be in later stages of life for that to happen, but any time where your balance is a little bit of compromise, this is a really nice way to just find stability in this pose. Opening through the hips, you want to feel that you're pulling both of the outer thighs back, just like you would open your chest. You want to feel that with your legs. Staying grounded, looking over that front hand. Using the feet still. It's not as active, it's definitely not as strong, but there's still some yang. There's a balance of yin and yang. Good. Then we're going to inhale and take the right arm up to the sky. Let your left hand come to your back leg. And this time, let's look down towards the left hand. Reach the right arm up as you start to go over. Beautiful. Take one more breath there. And then we're going to come back into the warrior two position. And then we're going to rest the forearm down on this front thigh. Good. And that left arm, we're going to reach it all the way up and over the ear. Yeah. So you can use the chair so you're not having to use so much muscle strength to keep this pose and this shape. And then you can really open up, pressing into that forearm a little bit so you get a little bit more rotation, resistance, leverage to open. And we can even take that left arm, if you will, and take it around your lower back. So you take a half bind. And just let your neck be somewhere that it feels at ease. So find that place, explore. What does that mean for your body? Where can we bring the neck so it's at ease, it feels in alignment, not straining or struggling in any way? Take one more breath here. And we're going to slowly press into that right foot so that we can return. We're going to reverse it one more time, looking down tonight, reaching the right arm up and over. And then coming back. And then you're just going to bend your knees so the chair is supporting you as we switch and rotate the feet to the other direction. Okay, I love this yoga. Lazy yoga. Supported yoga. It's not really lazy. So we're going to come back into that warrior position. Just find balance of feeling supported by the chair but not relying completely on it. We're still active and grounded in the legs. Take the arms up. Open the chest and open your hips in the same way you just opened the chest. Gazing over that front hand. And even when we're gazing, the gaze isn't intense. It's soft. There's direction and focus, but it's a relaxed focus. And we can feel that breath really ascending and descending all the way up and down that central channel of the body. And then let's reverse it. So on your next inhale, the left arm comes up, the right hand comes to the back leg, and you're just going to look down towards the hand or towards the leg. Finding ease in the head and the neck. Then coming back to your warrior two position. And then from there, you're going to lean forward, resting on that left forearm. The right arm is going to come all the way up and over the ear. Now that you have the chair, remember you can use that to feel that leaning back and the opening. This chest spinning, the ribs rotating more towards the sky. Reaching out through that top arm, pressing into the back foot. Finding the breath. And you can stay here or add the half bind so that right arm, the top arm, wraps around the lower back. And finding the place where your neck is most at ease. There's a lengthening to it. A softness. Using that forearm not just to crash into, but to actually help prop you open. So you're using that for a little leverage. And then coming all the way back up. Finding warrior two, reverse it one more time. Reach up, go over and back. And then coming back. Beautiful. Find the chair, release that, come back to center, and then bring the legs in. Lovely. We're going to stand up now. I'm just going to reposition my chair. So we're going to come to the chair, and we're going to take our hands. We're facing the chair now, taking our hands to the edges of the chair, and you're just going to walk your feet back. Yeah. So this is like a restorative downward facing dog. You can even slide the hands more forward. So I'm going to press my hips and butt back, and then I'm going to sink my heart down, and just letting the neck be nice and long. So this gives us that same nice stretch that we find in a downward facing dog without having to put the weight and pressure in our hands. So I give this as an alternative for people who find it difficult to get up and down on the floor when they're working through their yang yoga practice. But it's equally as good for anybody who just wants to invite a little more yin into the practice. And you can feel more stretch just by taking subtle cues, like pushing the thighs back and the calves back, and lifting the sit bones up at the same time as you're grounding down through the heels. And just like in your down dog, you're spinning your triceps down towards the mat. So the backs of the arms spin down towards the mat. So there's a little opening in the tops of the shoulders. And the head is heavy. I'm not always able to do that, or else I suffocate my microphone, but ideally your head would be dropped. And then we're going to slowly lift up just enough so we can walk our feet closer to the chair. And we're going to come into a forward fold here. So now, and you can bend your knees as much as you need to. I'm going to stack my arms or just let my head come onto the pillow. And we're going to take a nice forward fold with the weight of the head coming forward onto the chair. So it's really supportive here. And it's nice when we have something to rest the forehead on, as it really helps to stimulate that relaxation response. And you need to just find the height that's best for you. So even right now, I feel like that cushion is a little bit tall for what my body wants to do. So I can take it away and let my head come to the chair. But you might need to add some things. Ideally, the hips want to be right over the heels. And there could be a bend in the knees to help ease the back into this, or the legs could be more straight. There's a beautiful, calming quality of this pose. All right, take one more breath here. And then slowly we're going to come back up, lifting up the chest. So you're coming up halfway, a little length and space in the spine. And then we're just going to, from there, come down to the floor. And we're going to sit. You might even sit on the cushion or just sit on the floor. And we're going to sit with the legs nice and open. So the legs are going to be open into this kind of straddle position. And then you're going to lean, so walking your sit bones back, you're going to lean forward, rest your forehead either on your arms, or you can use your cushion again if you have one. You can even let your arms come down to the floor. If you find that you're really tucking back and you're unable to sit on the inside or the front of your sit bones, that's when a cushion is going to be really helpful underneath you so that you have some lift and some height. And you want that cushion to really lift you. If it's a flat cushion, it's not going to make too much of a difference. The more it lifts you, the more you can tip forward in the pelvis. You can even turn the head to one side. And let the forehead rest. Forward folds are naturally introspective. They bring us into an inner awareness. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to come back up, sitting upright. And if you can, if your chair has space for you to bring your legs through, you can bring your legs together and through. If they don't, maybe just take a forward fold without using the chair. And if you're a really bendy person, you could even stack a few pillows on top of your legs. But I'm going to show you this version with the legs going through the chair. I'm going to put a little bend in my knee to start. I'm just going to walk my sit bones back so I'm really in front of them. And then I'm just going to lean forward onto that chair. So it's a forward fold, Paschimottanasana, but with a chair to keep me nice and lifted. And I can keep the bend in the knees if that's helpful for me, or I can slowly start to push the heels away. And I want to keep the toes flexed, pointing to the sky, so the legs are slightly active. They're not just rolling out there. The inner thighs are rolling towards each other. But it's more passive. There's a yin quality, even though it's active in ways, there's a yin quality by the support of the chair and the forehead resting. And I find the breath from the root rising, and that's reminding my body to create space. And the exhalation is reminding me to ground and soften. Take one more breath here. And then slowly we're going to come back. Sitting upright. I'm going to slowly pull the legs back in. Come onto our knees. We're just going to come into a child's pose. So you can use your cushion if you have it. Move my chair forward. I'm just moving the hips back to the heels, bowing the head down. Again, you can use the cushion or not. The head can come all the way to the floor. The knees can be separated or together. And just take a few moments here in this restorative child's. Maybe the arms are out in front of you, or maybe the arms are resting behind you with the tops of your hands resting by your feet. One last breath here. And then we're going to slowly rise. Coming up, we're going to do one more posture, and before we come to Shavasana. And this is going to be a lunge, like a lizard's lunge. So I'm going to use my chair, and I'm going to step my left foot to the outside of the chair. Good. Outside of the chair. Then I'm going to lunge forward, and I'm going to bring my forearms to the chair if I can get that deep. And if I couldn't get that deep, I'm literally going to keep my arms straight and just lean forward with the hips. Maybe I'm staying upright. But if I can get a little bit deeper into it, I'm going to rest my forearms on the chair. And if I can get even deeper into that, I'm just going to lie myself over. And I might have to push back a little bit to do that, so that I'm supported in this nice big hip opening. So remember, make it work for you. You might not be this deep and this low. You might be here, but leaning into the hips, stretching into that right thigh, the quadricep, the hip flexor of the back leg, and letting this left leg open too a little bit to open up that inner thigh. Just a couple of breaths here. So it's a deeper pose. There's definitely a lot more yangness to it, but invite the yin quality there. The calming, soothing quality of the yin energy, the exhalation, the grounding, the softening. Every time we inhale, it's like we're breathing in the energy. It's uplifting, it's exciting, it's enlivening, it's that sun quality. And every time we exhale, it's cooling and softening. It's drawing us inwards and grounding. One last breath there. And then we're going to slowly back out of that, lifting up the hips, drawing the knees back together. Good. And you can even push off the chair and just stand upright so both legs are straight. Maybe bring the hands to the lower back. Inhaling, feel that you're pulling up from your knees to the heart as you open, maybe lean back. And then let's do the other side. So bringing the hands back to the chair, step the right foot to the outside of the chair. And you're going to lean forward, lunge into the hips. Again, another brilliant one to do if you're ever thinking about carrying a child in your belly. Because this is a really nice one to do for the later stages of pregnancy as well, creating a lot of space and a lot of opening. Maybe that will never apply. I'm just breathing here. Might be useful if you know someone who is carrying a rather large parcel in their belly. Good. You can stay upright. Remember, arms can be straight, using the chair to help you lean into that. Or just finding your happy medium. Letting that right knee open. Resting into the support of the chair. And one more breath there. And then slowly pulling back. Good. Bring both knees together. Sitting all the way up. And then bring your hands to your lower back. Inhale. Lift the chest. Draw the shoulders back. Feel this zipping up from the knees. Inner thighs zip up. Pubic bone zips up to the heart. And then straightening the body. And we're going to come down to our back. So you can completely remove your chair if you would like. And just come onto your back for a moment. Hug your knees into your chest. If you are working with a pillow or a cushion, you might take that again as we come into our twist before Shavasana. Maybe a little massage for the lower back here, circling one way and then the other. And then we're going to open the arms, chest to the sky. And as you exhale, drop your knees over to the right side. They might even land on a pillow. Sometimes that feels really nice. Turning your gaze towards the left hand and just sinking into that left shoulder. Slowing down the breath. And just check to see if there's anything we can let go of in this moment. Are we still holding on? Is the body still active? Can we let go of that active energy? And then we're going to breathe in as we take the left leg to the sky. Bring the knees back together. Maybe take your pillow with you. And take the knees down to the left. Dropping the legs on top. On the ground or on the cushion. And letting your head roll maybe all the way to the other side. If that doesn't work for you, then just find a place that does. But bring your awareness on completely surrendering, letting the body get heavy, relaxing any muscle that is still engaged and active. And take one more breath there. Bring your knees to the sky. Place your feet to the floor. And then coming into whatever is comfortable for you for Shavasana. It could be extending the legs out wide. It could be a blanket over the body. The arms resting by the sides on the floor. And I like to just wiggle the body for a moment, get the body to wobble. And the more easily it does that, the more we know we are relaxed. The harder it is to kind of jiggle and wiggle the body, the more we're holding. Take a deep breath in. And a big sigh, let it go. Just feel that grounding energy, as if the body feels heavier towards the floor. We need both the energies of the sun and the moon. The energy of the sun makes us wake up, take action, to do, to grow. But the energy of the moon reminds us of the importance of rest, of rejuvenation, of stillness, of silence, of reflection, of introspection, so that everything that we learned, all the actions that we took in the day and the sun's energy can be integrated. Can settle, can be woven into our fabric. If we do not sleep and we do not rest, there's no integration, there's no rejuvenation. So there's no one that's more important than the other. Not the sun, not the moon, but that continual cycle of the rising and setting of both. And we're reminded of that through every breath. The rising of the sun on the start of the inhale, and the setting of the sun and the rising of the moon on the exhalation. The stimulating in-breath, the calming, restful out-breath. returning to your breath here. Maybe a gentle sigh on the exhale. And a slow wiggle of the fingers, of the toes. Maybe a stretch and a yawn as the body starts to reawaken, to reemerge. The knees back into the chest. Maybe a big squeeze and a hug. And then rolling over to your side when you're feeling ready. And coming all the way up to find your seat as we come to the end of the practice. Just a moment to feel and contemplate and to reflect on the practice. To bring awareness to the space that opens up when we practice. Perhaps a moment to feel a unity, a balance, and the peace that comes with that equanimity as our practice balances the sun and the moon within us. And thank you so much for your practice. Namaste.